Hi, welcome back. This is the second installment of Router How-To and Practical Application. In this episode, I'll be showing you some basic joints used for woodworking, and I'll also be providing to you a three-dimensional rendition of the shelving that's going to go into the closet. And this is to give you a better idea about how the joints are going to come together. So we'll just head inside and take a quick look at the 3D draft. What you're looking at now is the piece that we just completed. This is going to be the top shelf. Now, if we were to spin this around and take a look at the bottom, what we're going to see is a groove that goes around the entire perimeter of the piece. And what this is going to do is allow the walls to fit in and be flush with the top. So let me spin this around and you can get a good look at that. Okay, so as you can see, there is a groove. You can see it here. It's going to go all the way around the perimeter of this piece. Okay. Now let's take a look at the entire shelf and how it all fits together. So this is the entire shelf. As you can see, it's going to have 4 walls and 2 shelves. Now, take a look at the top. The grooves are here, and you can see that the walls are going to fit underneath the groove. Now, there's also the same joints going down the sides of this piece here, and also this piece, and lastly this piece here. These grooves are set into the wood 1/2 inch to accommodate the thickness of the wood. So as I said before, it's going to have 2 shelves, a top and a bottom. And the middle shelf is actually going to fit into channels that I've cut, or I'm going to cut, all the way around the interior of the shelf. So I hope this gives a pretty good idea about how all these pieces are going to fit together, and you can use this to reference the cuts that I'm going to make throughout the remainder of the project in order to better understand why I'm doing it and how it's all going to come together. So the 1/2 inch border is going to go around everything but the front. So this is going to be the front here. That side is done. Now we'll move on to the next. As you can see, the grooves are cut, and it is approximately 5/16 of an inch deep and 1/2 an inch in. About 5/16, 1/2 an inch, approximately. This is the piece of wood that we're going to be using for the bottom shelf, and there's going to be some size differences between the top and the bottom shelf that I need to explain to you. If we were to cut the bottom shelf the exact same size as the top shelf, then the walls wouldn't fit into the grooves that we've cut along here. So what we're going to do is split the difference. We're going to take this 1/2 inch here, divide by 2, and you have a 1/4 inch. Now what exactly does that number give us? The walls are going to sit in 1/2 inch, and the bottom shelf is going to fit halfway between the top and the bottom. If we make the bottom shelf just the same size as the top shelf, then there's not going to be any room to take this and slide it in. We would have to cut the bottom shelf at exactly 1/2 inch shorter all the way around. Now, you saw in the picture that there's going to be grooves cut in the walls to accommodate the second shelf. If we were to cut it 1/2 inch short, then it would only reach the walls and it wouldn't fit into the grooves. So what I'm going to do is just split the difference and take that 1/4 inch, cut the channels on the walls 1/4 inch deep so it'll fit right in and give it a little extra support. Alright, this is going to be our bottom shelf here. The line here, here, and here. And this is all around 1/4 inch shorter than the top shelf. Now we're going to start the process of cutting out the bottom shelf. This is the completed lower shelf, and you can see here what happens when you don't set your depth incrementally. If you make a mistake, then it's through the entire piece rather than just on the first layer of cut. So learn from my mistakes and try not to make the same one. What we're going to do is set the bottom shelf on top of the top shelf, and we can see how well it matches up. Theoretically, it should be 1/4 inch less all the way around. And you can see that, yes, all the way around it is 1/4 inch shorter. And don't worry about that. This is not a scrap piece, but it was my first attempt at the top shelf, and my guide loosened up. But this is going to be upside down, and that part won't matter. Also, this won't matter either. That's why I've decided to keep it rather than cutting it again. With the top and bottom shelf complete, we're now going to move on to the sides. And that's going to be in the next video. Thanks for joining me for the second installment, and I'll see you again for the third.